Why do fence posts rot at the ground line? Is there anything that can be done to reduce its impact? The biggest issue with a fence post, or its Achilles heel, is the point where it enters the ground, otherwise known as the ground line section. This often rots whilst the rest of the fence post is still in perfect condition. Before we can examine a fence post in real life, we must first understand what wet rot is. So, wet rot is effectively a fungus that affects very damp timber. It can cause decay in plaster, wallpaper, and carpets. Wet rot spores are attracted to materials with a high moisture content. Compared to dry rot, wet rot is a lot less destructive, although it can still have resulting effects, as we can see here in this windowsill diagram. So, what is a fungus? Yes, wet rot is a fungus. The scientific name is Conifera potaenia. Types of wet rot. Well, wet rot is a general term for several fungi species, the most common being the one we just mentioned, and also cellular fungus. Brown rot, inducing fungi. The degradation of cellulose and hemocellulose destroys the walls of the wood cells from the very core. Moisture level of around 40 to 60%, with optimum of more than 50% in 21 degrees or above, with good airflow, of course. Now, that airflow brings us to these three main influential factors of wood rotting. We have moisture level, we have oxygen level, and we have warmth. So warmth would be temperature, oxygen would be airflow, and moisture would be the amount of dampness that may be in the environment absorbed into the timber. This moisture can originate from many different sources, as we can see. So, what are the signs of wet rot? Rot can be seen in darkened timber, or if the timber is darker than the surrounding timber. The timber will often be soft and spongy, may appear cracked and crumble to the touch. Localized fungus growth, you'll see maybe white spots appear. There'll be shrinkage, musty, damp smell, and if you stick screwdriver, as the example shows here, through it, it will often go through it like a sponge. The conditions. There are several levels to a fence post, and the conditions in each area are very different. This can affect how the post degrades. So let's look at the conditions at the top. The top of the post features all necessary environmental factors for fungal growth. However, the reaction at the top is far slower, as the top of the post is exposed to direct sunlight, hence drying it off very quickly. If we look at a real world image here, we can see that the top of the fence post, yes, is wet, but it is drying off in the middle here, as we can see by these strokes of wet. At the bottom here is a different story. So if we look at the very bottom underneath the ground, there is plenty of moisture, plenty of heat, because obviously there's no wind. However, there is no fungal growth, especially because of the lack of oxygen. This is why we see such a rapid amount of fungal growth at the ground line. The moisture level is quite high, as the base often doesn't dry out because it's quite sheltered. This keeps the temperature up. Also, moisture gets trapped in debris that may get brushed up around it, but yet there is good airflow, so oxygen level is quite high. If we look at this real world example taken just the other day, we can see that the ground is holding all of the water as it's impermeable, and it is sitting up against the fence post, but yet it's not drying out, and we have plenty of temperature, meaning that the fungal growth, as can be seen here, continues. So examples of rotting in concrete. These fence posts are rotting in concrete. We can see here that the base appears to be rotting much faster. Let's look at the conditions. They're seated in concrete, which, as we've just said, is non-permeable, meaning water can't soak through. The ground around the base is level, which isn't advised because debris and moisture cannot roll away. And the base is not getting as much sunlight as the top. So if we look at examples in soil, soil has similar issues but doesn't seem to be as fast. This can be because the soil allows the water to disperse more evenly, not just on the ground line of the post. The fungus cannot grow at the base as there's less airflow, as the soil is often waterlogged and the fungus cannot grow underwater. As we've seen previously, oxygen level is a key factor of fungal development. So similar structural impacts on wet rot on fence posts. Just 15% of the post needs to be decayed for it to have its strength reduced by up to 40%. So nearly half of its strength is gone by just this little piece. As we can see here from the picture, there's plenty of snapped off fence posts, probably induced by wind, but they would have been weakened by moisture. So is there a way of solving this? The key to any good solution is to revisit the key factors that caused the problem in the first place. If we can remove these factors, such as moisture, oxygen level, and temperature, we may stand a chance at improving this. So products that aim to reduce this. Um, there's a lot of products that have been developed to do this. One major thing is just to seat the fence post correctly. As we can see here, this product is a coating that goes on the cedar post. It's seated in concrete with a tilt away from it to allow drainage. Also, gravel is on the bottom to allow for more drainage. Other existing products are these plastic covers here. This is a rigid plastic cover, and this is more one like a bin bag that protect against moisture and create a physical barrier between the ground and the fence post. However, these have one flaw. Um, if we look at here, if we look at the joint between the plastic and the wood, moisture may seep down in there, and this may cause internal rotting, which we may have to look at. The other option is treating the wood itself, so you can have it pressure treated like a decking, or you can have it spray treated like this gentleman is here. A liquid preservative is placed in a pressure chamber when it is treated, which gets into the cells of the wood. So the ideal solution, from what I've gathered through all this research, is a physical barrier like the plastic fence post, as we've seen here. It should be the ground level should be raised up against the base of the fence post to allow debris to escape. Also, at the gap at the top of this plastic barrier should be a level of sealant to stop the water seeping down. So, in evaluation, fence posts rot due to three factors: moisture, oxygen, and temperature. Wooden fence posts rot at the ground line far, far faster as debris gets caught, as we can see in this picture here. In order to protect against wood rotting, in a number of factors need to be removed or reduced. This can be a method of insulation, drainage, or external products, as we've just seen.